What is going on, guys? Your boy Seso here, bringing us another Photoshop tutorial, continuing on with the personal rebrand series. So for part 1, we should got to make a logo using the rectangle marquee tool and not the pen tool, which is like way easier than using the pen tool. Because some people know how to use the pen tool, but they don't know how to go off from like learning how to use the pen tool, doing these curves and stuff. And then whatever they're doing, they don't know how to like use that knowledge to make their own logo, because of course doing that part takes like creativity and a lot of practice, and people don't have that time. So using this style of way of doing it is really simple, using the rectangle marquee tool. I actually got to use that and do all that stuff in part 1. So please click on the video. You just want to click on the video in the description below, part 1. Go check it out if you haven't already. All right, let's get going. So what's going to also be in the description below is this white pack here. So I'm going to use some of the stocks from this little white pack. I just thrown the little things from before from my old tutorial. Some of the stocks that I use, I'm going to be using the same stocks from those. So you can just kind of download that in the description below as well. And also, what's going to be in the description below is some other previous banner tutorials that are going to be really helpful for you guys to like use. And what you can do is I always stress this enough. If you just combine a couple of tutorials together, you can make some really cool like series of whatever you're doing. So if you're doing your banners, logos, all these like different techniques and stuff, it can really help you out like tremendously. So I really do appreciate all support ahead of time. If you're going to click on the other ones as well, you can click in the description below, of course, like I said, and you're good to go. So yeah, let's get going. So we're going to do something like this. This banner right here is, I've done this for practice for FaZe Adapt. So if you don't know what that is, it's a Call of Duty player for, FaZe Clan. Anyways, we're going to keep on going, talking about this really quickly. So we're going to do something like this. We're kind of like have this little indentation theme of like a border on top and bottom. It kind of like has an indentation right here, and then it fades into being flat. Same thing on the bottom right over here. And so it's a simple text layer style and pictures in the background of himself. So this stock can really go on for people who do vlogs, gaming commentaries of yourself, or just have pictures of different games you play. Work if you're a designer, if you have different banners in the background and such. So things like this is what you want to take, parts and bits and pieces of tutorials and stuff and combine them. That's what I mean by that. So basically, we're going to do something like this today, and we're ready to go. All right, squeaky chair. All right. Anyways, yeah. So I'm going to click on this color right here. So you want to have a color. Oh, by the way, if you don't have this template, I'll put this in the description down below as well. There's like so many things in that description, so you want to check that out immediately, okay? Please. So yeah, if you don't have this template, what this template has is these little rulers right here, which are really helpful. I've been using them ever since I got them. So yeah, this color right here is an offset white. It's E9, E9, E9. If you want to just basically use this hashtag and make it the same exact white as I have. I'll probably keep the white though on the template, so it's not really not that important. But yeah, that's the color I have here. So we're going to go ahead and get started now. Let's use these textures now. Alright. I don't know why I have that at 25 already. I was going to be using that though. I could have kept it. But yeah. So I'm going to drag the stock in. I'm going to be using the opacity 25 and keep it on normal. And the reason why it's on 25 and not like a higher number. Alright. For people who don't really are crazy, not like, not crazy like, knowledge base with, using or blending stocks and stuff. The reason why I have it on 25 and not like, you can hardly see it. You can kind of say in your mind, but you can still see what's going on. In the texture. Let's just drag in another one really quickly so I can continue talking about it. If I put this new texture on, if I put overlay or anything other than normal, or if I just lower the opacity on normal, I don't know why I can't say on like right. Jeez, I'm gonna put this on overlay really quickly though. You can still see the texture below it. Let's say if I had this on 55, which is kind of high for a texture. Look at that. It kind of like crazy comes out. And you can kind of see here. The reason why it's like lighter and it gets darker. Why does it get darker? Because there's something on top of it. The more things, the more textures you put on top of it, the darker the other stocks below it get. So that's why you want to start off with a lower opacity. That's why you want to put more stocks on it. It won't be so distorted. The same thing goes for black style banners. Like really, I hate the way black style banners are, because when you put more and more textures on it, you have more crazy like gradient lines, or they just looks really distorted. You kind of see little pixels coming out on the outside. So that's why I really like white banners. It's really hard to do that or mess that up. So using just simple low opacities can really help you out. But for this is on overlay. You kind of see these little cuts. I want to have those there. I'm gonna put it on about 80%. And I'm gonna go to this white pack again, and we're gonna drag this one in like so. Go ahead and put this on overlay as well. So what I'm doing here is basically like trying to make a nice white scaled, basically not too gray or whatever, just kind of keep it like that white offset white feel, and kind of make a nice little blended white background. So I'm going to go ahead and continue this now. I'm going to use this little plexus stock right here as well. Oh, it didn't drag in. So this is not big enough. You can kind of see it's not big enough to fit all the way around. I don't want to use Control T and expand it. That will ruin the, or even if you do Shift click, it will ruin the quality of the stock itself. So what I'm going to do is just simply make a duplicate using Alt, drag it over, and then using the eraser, E on your keyboard for the shortcut, and then if I press Control Alt and right click left and right, see like the distance of the diameter goes bigger. I'm just going to erase this a little bit so it's not so dark on that side, and then Control click on these, Control E, and then we can just put it on screen now. So you have this little plexus now. It looks really, really cool. And I'm going to lower this down just a little bit. So there, that's where I'm going to stop at. I'm not going to put too much. Of course, if you want to put other things that you have, like if you want to use some stocks you have, go right ahead. Be my guest. Of course, it's just how I would do it. Anyways, I'm going to make a group now. I already have my group. It's called Backup. Why it's called Backup? Because this is my backup just in case I want to mess up and I want to change things up in, like, you know, the future, or if I don't like something. So to do this, simply just shift click on all these layers. Click on the top one, hold shift, and click on the last one, which will be like your background color. And then press Control G, make the group now. You just double click on the layer or the name, and you can just name it Backup or whatever. But I already have mine, like I said. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna close this off. I'm gonna press Control J to make a duplicate. I'm gonna rename this main. I'm gonna go ahead and just uncheck this so it's not, or so it's hidden now. I'm gonna go ahead and press Control E or right click. Where is it? Merge group together. So just merge all the layers together now. So now what you can do is add a filter, which I'm gonna do right now. I'm gonna go ahead and filter, blur, Gaussian blur. 1.5 pixels radius. I'm gonna press OK. What that'll do is kind of like combine all my layers together, like a nice smooth setting. I really like doing this. I just always been doing it since I'm doing white banners, and I feel like it looks really, really good. So now what you're done with that, you can continue now. So we're gonna go ahead and do this little border line things now. So what I'm gonna do, P on my keyboard for the pen tool, and then Control H to hide and unhide my rulers. I'm gonna use these now. I'm gonna click all the way on the left side. I'm gonna click somewhere in the middle, and I'm gonna dip down. And I'm going to go ahead and go all the way, I'll say over here. And I'm going to dip back up. Like so. By the way, when you do these little dips, I feel like they look so much better if you keep it nice and close to each other. If you're doing dips like this, please don't, okay? Let's go back to keep it nice and tight. So I'm going to go ahead and go over here. Extend it. And something like that. So just keeping the nice little dips nice and tight so it's not crazy, like all the way over here or whatever. I'm going to hold shift again. And I'm going to continue going up here. Actually, I'll just go right here and then connect it. Since this is kind of like way too long for me, I'm going to go ahead and just use the direct selection tool, which is actually on your pen tool. If you press Control now, you can see like if I'm pressing Control, this little mouse comes up. That's a direct selection tool. You just simply click and highlight. You're going to see this little rectangle. And then if you unclick, of course, you can now select these points. Press Control and move them now, and hold Shift to make a straight line. Just move it over a little bit, right? So now what you can do now is you can right click, make selection, and now since your pen tool is not all about selections, you're not going to be able to select anything on here. So you got to make sure you go to your M on your keyboard or your rectangle marquee tool, and then right click, layer via copy. Before you do that though, make sure you're selected on your main, which is basically like your textured background here. Make sure you're selected on that, and then you press layer via copy. What that'll do is, since you have this like little outline right here, it's going to cut out the same exact thing from here, the same exact texture from the background, but it's not going to cut this out from this. It's going to copy it. So we're going to do, oops, I pressed cut on accident. All right, there we go. So I'm going to just name this top border. There you go. Double click on it now. Go to my stroke, and then change my stroke color to whatever color I want. I'll say orange for now. I don't know what's upset. I'm obsessed with orange. I don't know why. So yeah, stroke on orange. You can always lower the size of your stroke and such to get like whatever the feel, whatever like how like skinny you want to have these. I think this is at 3, so I'm gonna keep it at 3. If it was at 2, I don't know. You can always change it, like I said. You can make a backup of it, of course, if you want to make a crazy change to it. I'll keep it on 3. Inner shadow, make sure it's at -90. Otherwise, if at 90, your shadow is gonna be pointing down. You want it to be pointing up. So make sure it's at -90, and then maybe change your color to like a nice gray, and then mess around with the distance and choke size. I'm gonna put it to 1. I'll put it to 2. Mess around with my choke size and my size itself. I say that looks pretty good, so I'm going to say 2, 6, 16 for those, and I'm going to press OK. Then I'm done with that. So you can see now, what you got to do is erase it now, this side right here, just make a nice little erase it, so I can kind of like have this little point at the end. You see how this faded out? That's what I did. I erased it. Is that even a word? I erased it. There you go. So if I use the eraser, which is E on your keyboard, if I try to erase it without doing the rasterizing, this will happen. You don't want this to happen. Make sure you right-click on your top border and press rasterize layer style. So you just erase it simply, like so. Not too much, so it kind of like fade in now. So now I'm going to press Alt, drag this to the bottom right, Control T to free transform, and then right-click, flip horizontal, and flip vertical, and then you can just press a check or just press Enter on your keyboard. And then what you can do simply just move it so it's nice and, you know, just the replica is the same thing. So it's the same exact shape and stuff. So you can now you have this this like indentation to going flat again. So what we're gonna do now is the color burst now that's coming out of it. So I'm gonna combine these two together and I'm gonna group these together and just call it border. I like keeping order now. I learned that if I do not keep order, I mess up, and I do not, like, I'm just unchecking and checking layers till like for like 5 minutes till I find it. So please name your layers ahead of time. It helps you out so much. So make a new layer now. We're just gonna call this the light, right? We're gonna call this the light because this is gonna be coming out of the back of the thing right here. So back of the borders, by the way. So I'm gonna select the same orange. I'm gonna use the color palette. I'm gonna use this little eyedropper. So if you just, you know, select somewhere around the banner, it takes the color, of course. I'm gonna select this orange, right? Make it a little bit more brighter, probably. Press OK. Use my brush again. And what I'm going to do now is going to click once above this one and once below this. Actually, I'll just do it on separate layers, but just click once right here, and make sure it's above the border, by the way. If it's not above the border group, if I put it below it, you'll see, since the border is the same exact texture, maybe you'll think, like, hey, it's going to bleed through. But make sure your stroke, make sure you remember, like, this is actually a texture itself. Make sure it's above the border. And you can either erase it, of course. You can erase around and kind of have, like, do this. But it looks kind of sloppy if you do that. So what you do is use the pen tool, and then repen tool what you just did, right? Like so. And then just go all the way around. Oh. Why aren't you going around? Alright. All the way around. Connect it. Right click. Make selection. Press enter. And then delete. Simple enough. I'm going to make a new layer again. Another light right here. And I'm going to do the same thing. Like so. You can either do that. I think what you can do, if I select it maybe with this, with the magic wand tool, let me think. What if I did this? No. Oh, make sure I'm on the border though. If I select it like this, see, I was gonna say if you select it like, you know, select it like this and then right click, select inverse and then delete, it probably would have worked, but it would see it's not so much. So people were saying that probably it wouldn't work. So I'm gonna do it the same way before. I just want to try that, see if that worked. If it did, I would have been happy, but it wouldn't work because you have the drop shadow. It kind of messes up with the using the magic wand tool. You can probably either lower the what's it called, the tolerance, probably do it, but otherwise this is pretty easy, simple enough, right? Go around again, and then right click, make selection, OK, and then delete on your keyboard. On the light. Almost forgot to click back over there. There we go. So now what you can do now is select both of them with control clicking, and then either do overlay or soft light, whichever one looks best to you. I think overlay is like the way to go. I'm liking overlay. So there we go. I'm going to group these together now, and then call these light. And now I'm going to make I'm going to change the color of this. I'm going to use the hue and saturation. Click this little half circle here, hue and saturation. I'll make this more red. There we go. Simple enough. Alright, so now you got basically the format of the banner now. So you have this right here. Same thing as before. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just throw in a couple images. Like you probably do this at the end, but you can do it at the beginning if you wanted to. So I'm gonna drag these in. I'll drag this one, and I'm gonna rasterize it. And I'll drag in this one because I can. And these can be pictures of yourself. These can be pictures of different games that you play. These are both Advanced Warfare. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna basically erase some of this on this side, so it kind of fades into this picture, and then I'm gonna fade in, or erase something on this side, so it kind of fades into that picture. I'm gonna select both of them, put them both to luminance layer style, and I'll both lower the opacities down to a good percent. You can still see the image, and it's not bothering anything around it, so it kind of looks really good. So like that looks good. All right. So there you go. Let's see, do that. Just group that together and call those pics or something. I don't know. I'm going to make a simple text now. I'm going to call it Seso HQ. This is the font Franklin Gothic Heavy or something like that. Yeah, that's what it is. I'm going to put this font in the description down below if you want it as well. I've just been putting everything in the description down below. Jeez. Alright. Got a lot of things to remember. I'm going to select the same color as before. And then I'm going to take the HQ and make this black. And there we go. So there you go. You got that. I'm kind of maybe this maybe a little lighter. It's too dark for me. There we go. Okay. And for the layer style, I'm gonna try and match this one. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna double click on this little layer, this text now. We're gonna do this layer style. So we're gonna use bevel and emboss or so. I don't know. I still don't know how to say that. All right. So then we'll put 560 for the depth. For the size, we're gonna put 110. And then we're just going to lower, I'm going to change this white to a gray, and I'm going to change this black to a more darker gray, and I'm going to change this to 40, and I'm going to change this one to 25, and then after that, I'm going to do some drop shadowing. I'm going to change this to 90. I'm going to lower the opacity just a little bit, maybe my distance to like 3 or so, spread to like 7 or 5, I don't know. There we go, just make it look good. And what I'm going to do is put inner shadow on it now. I'm going to put this to, I'm going to put this to 82, or 85, or 80, I don't know, 80 or so. And put this to 1, distance to 1, choke to 3, and then size to 3 as well. And then be a gradient overlay, put it on soft light or so, and then work around with that. And you probably just work around with this. I don't know, I use this a lot, I just really like how it looks. I'm going to put this on as well, make it sharper. There you go. You can mess around with this stuff. Maybe darken this up. So yeah, you can always mess around with that. I don't know. Oh, maybe move this up here. Yeah. Alright. So yeah, that's all up to you though. Yeah, fine, that works out. I don't know. I just took like 3 minutes on that. But yeah, I'll make this a little bigger. And so with the layer style, you can always mess around with other layer styles. You can purchase layer styles. I also have layer styles in my store. You can also check that out in the description below. I really do have a lot of things to do in that description. But yeah, so I have different layer styles. I'm going to put what I am below my name, graphics designer. I don't know if I just put graphic. I never know. I'm just going to shrink this a little bit. And I'm going to use Agency FB font. I'm going to use a couple different fonts. It's probably cool to use different fonts as well in your banner itself. Kind of shows you like a little bit of variety. And then I'm going to select it all with Control A, Control T to bring up this little table right here. And I'm going to use the VA, which is basically spreading your letters together. Or spreading your letters, like, you know, whatever the spacing is. Moving this to the right, space them out a little bit. Press the little check. Move it over here. Graphics designer, I already fixed this a little bit. Whatever. Let's just do that. There we go. And then along with that, you can simply just, you know, use other, you know, put your, you know, social media, wherever you want to put it. For me, I put his, I think, on the bottom. I would put it like right here, over here. And then for the logo, you can take your rebranded logo that you did for, you know, from part 1. Take the logo, right? You need to put it in the background or so. Or I would just put it either right next to the name. You can have it like duplicated, so you can put it on the other side as well. Or simply enough, just have it on the bottom. I like to do this on the bottom, right? Make sure it's centered. That's why these rulers are here. There we go. Something like that. I'll just simply merge these together. Change this to white. And then what I'm going to do is basically rasterize it now. Double click on it. Put some bevel and emboss thingy on it. And then mess around with this. Kind of make this a little bit quicker. Running on time. Alright, something like that. You know, something like this just to have, like, I would probably fix it up, obviously the layer style a little bit more. Have it on top or the left or right of it, whichever one to do. And of course you can also put, like, I don't know why I like stuttered that, but of course you can put other stocks around and make a new layer. Like some of my brush stocks, get a little sneak peek what I'm working on for a new store product. I'll probably have it out probably when this video goes up, so you want to check that out in the description below as well. I mean, check the description. I mean, of course. Overlay. And then have these nice little stocks with the brush. And then erase around it a little bit. Have a couple stocks. It'll look cool. And of course, with your Twitter stuff, simply just have it on the bottom or something. Like so. That's an eraser. That's why it's not working. Jesus. Twitter on the bottom. There you go. And then you can just put, you know, at Seso HQ or whatever. So anyways, I really hope you guys enjoyed this. I don't know why this tutorial took forever. But anyways, hope you guys have learned a lot of stuff. Of course, like I said, check out some of my other banner tutorials. And I will try to be posting a lot more. Trust me. You know, college stuff is working out for me. I try to feel out what's all it's going to be about. My first semester is really easy. And then, of course, then I have that winter break, which was like a month or a half off. I don't know what it is. But anyways, I'm going to try and post a little bit more. So make sure you guys leave a like on this video. 200 likes on this video equals the secret download below in the description below that gets unlocked. It's going to be something with a graphics product in it. And at least like maybe a store product preview. You never know. That's why it's a secret. So make sure you guys like the video up. Talk to you guys later. Peace out. Seso out later. Make sure you follow me on Twitter, by the way, at SesoHQ. Peace.